Okay, so this is my end of day recap, right? Starting on the daily. What do we got here? So, yeah, when coming into today, my bias was bearish. The bias was bearish. So what do we do? As we open up here, right, and it hit a lower. You can clearly see, like I've been talking about this. We're in a consolidation on the daily. Price is just confined, consolidating within this range. So for what we did here, it kind of makes sense because of that. But as we open lower, didn't really reverse away from anything. I think we had SMT here, if I'm correct, with YM, right? Yeah, on Tuesday. Created SMT here, which sent price higher. And then ES, based on how NQ closed yesterday, I knew that we were probably going to create this second stage PSP here after running this high. So we reversed away from that, right? There was technically strength switch second stage into here on the floor. We displace away when we look within pretty range within that C2 because we know that a higher time from closure doesn't necessarily mean that it's an actual reversal. Because when we look within a C2, and if it's just chop, then obviously that's not a reversal away from this key level. We want to see that V shape, reversal signature to confirm the higher time frame swing point, and that's exactly what we see here, displaced away. So essentially, the draw on liquidity, because of the weekly profile, it's delayed, right? We open low, high, and then we're heading lower instead of the open, high, low, close, fluid motion or delivery that we want to see in a, for a bearish candle. So I was just targeting curve low, honestly, when going into today during Asia mainly. But in reality, so I mean, this was really the main draw liquidity for the day. For ES anyways, because as you can see on NQ is the weakest asset, obviously, because of the S&P and all that. And NQ reached this low, karmic low first, created S&T, but we know that's likely filler S&T because what did all assets do at the reversal? They V-shaped lower. So that typically means all assets will reach the same target level. And then we also had that strength switch second stage S&T on the 4-hour at the initial reversal, which increases the odds that all assets will reach the same target level. And then where is the S&P being printed on the lagging assets, right? In OTE, right? So we're creating those feather swings. So we know this is likely feather S&P, lower probability bullish S&P. So I was essentially just trying to trade ES as the middle asset to catch up to NQ. But we know that NQ has a reason to continue lower because we have this low here. So while NQ being the leading asset bearishly trades into this low, I want to trade ES as the lagging asset in continuation to break into this low, into the feather S&P low that NQ is that failed manipulate, right? So the framework is order pairing ranges or manipulation ranges. I hate saying order paired ranges, order pairing ranges. I don't know. The profile is Thursday high of the week C2, looking for Friday C3 continuation. If Friday is going to continue lower, then it has to respect EQ of pre range, and ideally the day opens higher at first. So yeah, let's jump on the for record to find the key level. And the strength switch technically at first happened here. And then we displace away. We actually created SMT here, which was failure SMT. We use this gap as the universal sequence and continuation. We broke that SMT. Okay. But we actually created strength switching here and then displaced away. As you can see, we V-shaped away from that. It was on YM when we did that, or when we created that. As you can see, that was the high. So we took those highs out on. We held it, displaced away, which I capitalized on that. And then, yeah, so going into today, do we have a 4-hour gap that we can frame the high day off of as the refined key level? And on YM, we do the previous 4-hour kind of high is the 4-hour gap low. So this is when we created the S&P here, I think on NQ, right? No, we created that a long time ago. Created it here. So clearly filler SMT because of the phase of price. And what I wanted, because look how YM is opening up today, is opening up super close to the gap, while ES is kind of far away from it. So what I really wanted is today to open higher first and create SMT strength switching via SMD fill on the 4-hour, and then I can capitalize on Asia reversal. So, but we didn't do that. I mean, today we literally opened up. This is the 4-hour gap high, and today it did open higher at first, but then it fell shy of that. Didn't create the SMD fill, and then it just shot lower, which is annoying. But like I said, it kind of makes sense because, but I would want to see that. That's high probability, and that would actually be proper framework to trade away from. But so that was invalidation that we didn't do that. But it kind of makes sense why we didn't though at the same time, because what is today opening up within C2, C3, C4? So it's kind of like a GXT line sequence, and Q has a reason to continue beyond this low. So we don't really need to see strength switching. So that's why we didn't really get that. 2200 reached this low on NQ. I'm not sure if that was the low. Yeah. Anyways, so going into New York game. So what are we doing? Right, I know that so yesterday expanded lower. So we're already kind of extremely bearish going into today, and then today continued that expansion. So you never ever want to see continuation lower when we're obviously this is just phase of price 101 because we're extremely bearish. So in reality, when we do this, yeah, although we did create SMT with the slow, and we're clearly found to manipulate it on NQ, and ES is super close to it. It's not really smart to see continuation lower to target this low to break the S&P. So I knew that framing reversal away from this is valid. So yeah, so today opens lower first. And we know that if we're going to fade this daily candle, then ideally the day opens lower. I mean, it has to open lower at first. The daily profile has to support that bullish framework. So it does, which is great. And ideally we hit like a daily or above key level, which we do. And we create that second stage PSP, which isn't strength switching on the 4. But we do form strength switching. So I could trade the initial reversal away from this. And it happened during the driver, of course. But obviously 6 AM has that large wick, so ideally I don't trade it. But since it's 6 AM, you could fade the 4-hour candle. So let me do this. So yeah, so it makes sense to fade the daily candle, right? We're extremely bearish, and the weekly profile doesn't really support price reaching beyond this low or heading too far beyond this low. So the second stage crack here, this key level, is the perfect area for price to cap off the weekly range. And YM at this very moment during the driver during 6 AM, right, broke the S&P with current low. So like all assets pretty much hit a key level. It was just ES leaving these further swings. I really wanted to see us take those, but it kind of makes sense why we didn't. It really doesn't matter, honestly, because we create that SMT and we created second stage strength switch, second stage PSP on the 15-minute, which we know that usually we use the like 1 hour, 30-minute swing points to confirm the higher low day, but the only time we can use a 15-minute swing point to confirm the higher low day is when it's a strength switch. That's exactly what we formed here. Right, we close bullish on YM is the strongest asset because we're higher in premium, right? We're literally just taking this low out on YM. So therefore NQ is typically weakest, which it is, and then ES is the middle asset. So I mean ideally you trade YM, but obviously we've did so much already prior. So then at that point you have to trade ES. And it doesn't really matter what asset you take because we have the strength switch at the reversal. But like I said, I could trade the reversal here because I'm fading the 6-hour candle, 6 AM 4-hour candle, and I'm entering from the opening to the low within discount rate. So mechanically, you could fade the 6 AM 4-hour candle, the daily, the 4-hour, the 1 hour 30 minute, or yeah, the 1 hour 30 minute technically it does land, but we have this range switch at the reversal. I mean, yeah, it's valid, but I didn't like how we edged these lows here. I just didn't like that. I didn't really trust it. I was really focused on yes taking this low, and then we could frame reverse away from it. But it was valid, definitely. So if I don't catch the initial swing points, right, that's creating a switch for the reversal, then I can just demand displacement away and then trade the continuation away from the universal sequence, simply. Which is exactly what we formed here. Right, 10 opened up, expand higher, created a gap. Right here, and we know that going into 10:30 we retrace into it, or we're going to, and going into 11 a.m. We create S&P fill with NQ. NQ holds this S&P fill, and then we V-shape pull in. So this is technically strength switching on the lagging assets to break. Or hold on, I didn't explain that. Hold on, go back. When we expand higher during 10 a.m. like that, during the displacement away from the strength switch second stage SMT, we created SMT with current day high. This is typically how assessing forms in the form of the universal sequence, right? We know this is likely filler SMT because what did all assets do at the reversal? They displace higher. So that typically means that all assets are going to reach the same target level, right? And we have this range switch at the reversal, which increases the odds of that. So yeah, 10 creates the refined key level. 11 confirms the low of the 10 for a kind of GXT reversal sequence. But I want to go to the hourly and show this real quick. We had SMT fill as well on the 1 hour. But I know that, yeah, we weren't creating an hourly gap below this. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, that's right. At first, though, I thought we were going to create a 10. I thought 10 was going to close up here, and then 11 was going to create a gap. But I was like, we could fade that hourly gap if we form SMT fill like this with this low, but we didn't create a gap on yet, so it doesn't matter. But so the reason why I didn't take NQ, although it was kind of showing more strength right now, is because it's the lagging asset. It's overall the weakest asset, and ES is the middle asset, so it's going to be stronger. But I guess right here in this very moment, technically NQ is strongest. But like I said, we have a strength switch at the reversal, so it doesn't really matter what asset you take. But I didn't really care about that, to be honest. But that kind of did bite me in the ass, but it really didn't make sense. It didn't really, it shouldn't have affected it, really, my trade at all. But, so yeah. We have the 1 hour, 30 minute rate aligned. The 4 hour is aligned. Small wick. The daily is aligned because we opened lower at first. We have confirmation to the universal sequence with SMT with the gap, which is also strength switching on the lagging assets. So, I mean, I have literally everything here. And also, notice how we create that SMT and then we inside bar. Right? We inside bar. We did create strength switching here with NQ. I wanted to point that out too. But what did we do? We failed to expand away from that. We failed to displace away from this strength switch second stage SMT. So this isn't prominent. So that just the reversal here confirms that this is clearly, like the phase of price confirms that this is filler SMT. So that's great to see. And if you think about validations too, right? If this was C2 here, technically because of the SMT, then we should have created C3. We should have displaced away from that. The fact that we didn't confirms that we should at least resweep this high, which is great, which was pretty much where my take profit was. I mean, it was literally that is my take profit. But obviously, the overall draw on liquidity is this high. But we don't, it's not a guarantee that today is going to reach current day high or the daily open because of the large wick, the time, all that. So it's great that my take profit is not at that, but it's right here. So it's very high probability that my take profit will at least get hit. Price doesn't have to reach the mid-draw liquidity for me to make money, right? But but like, so yeah, everything's aligned, everything's perfect. So dropping down to the 1 hour or the 5 and 30 minute, do we have the, I'll just do this. Do we have the V shape within this to confirm the C2, right? That's all we need to see. And we kind of do. Honestly, I feel like I had some FOMO with this because it does look like shit. I thought we were gonna create a gap here. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty sure, but we held this S&D fill with NQ, which was 10 EM low right here. This is why so we held that. And then we all asked is V-shape higher, which I thought was pretty nice to see. I mean, look at YM. That was, I mean, clearly retracement. Clearly, I feel like in mid play at this high. So great to see on the leading asset. So yeah, I thought this was perfect, and I took my entry off that CST itself. I didn't take it right away because I was honestly hesitating. Even right here, I was hesitating, but I was like, "Fuck it, bro. Everything's aligned. It's just the entry." I put my stop here, right there, and I turned it into 3R. Literally that right there. It's not even at the high. It's crazy. Explode. So price trips me in right there. It creates the CICC on the 5 minute. It didn't create on the 3 minute, which I really wanted. It was like way cleaner, honestly. Much more bulky. I just don't like how there's no gaps within this. Honestly, it's kind of shitty. That is like the only downside about this. So we create that CICSD. That's when I trail my stop to here, reducing my risk by 1/2. And price comes back, and this is when we create SMT with YM. Honestly, I thought I was going to be cooked here. Wait, yeah, but that's why you never rush to try your stop to break even. It wasn't valid to. And then once we create this SMT, and then just blazed away, like right here, or like pretty much right here, honestly, I trailed my stop here to break even. And then price, looking back on it, or it doesn't even matter. Like price literally fell shy of my take profit by 1 tick, pretty much, like by a speck. And then it comes back and takes me, literally taps my break even, just taps it. And then it goes higher and reaches my take profit. Like, how unlucky is that? That is insane. That is fucking crazy. I should have won this trade. And if I won this trade, I would have passed my eval. Like, nobody understands how annoying that truly is. I really can care less, honestly. I find that shit exciting. It's pretty fun, but I think I just like suffering, honestly. But this shit is fucking crazy, bro. I can't believe that happened. But it makes sense because 11 a.m., 11:30, 11 a.m. was C2, 11:30 C3, 12 C4, and 12 is that new 90-minute candle open, new 6-hour open. And I knew that I was during 10:30 going into 11 when I traded it, or going to 11:30. I was fading the 10:30 a.m. 90-minute candle because we have that large wick. So I knew that my entry has to be within discount. Right, obviously. From the opening price here to the low. I have to position myself as low as possible within this range here. And my entry was in discount, my stop was at the low, literally valid. And when I trail my stop to here, it's still in discount. So when we open up the new 90-minute candle, this is pretty much the 90-minute candle low to high. So when we open up here, my stop is still in pretty much OTE. Like, we should have respected this gap here, ideally. This was their fine kilo that we should have continued from. I mean, if we go back, 12 opened up, like I said, like it opened up within the line swing. Right, C2, C3. Ideally, 12 should have just opened higher right away. Or if it did open lower, respect that gap and hit higher. Like, but I mean, look how lethargic this PA is. So I mean, I'm not surprised that we kind of didn't really, but do shit. But then if you go to NQ right now, and where's NQ above this high? So I mean, if I did take NQ off the CST here, I would have reached my take profit. So it was definitely showing some more strength in ES, obviously. I just didn't think that was going to affect price really that much, but clearly, that kind of does matter. So, anyways, yeah, got very, very unlucky. And then of course after it takes a high, it just chops around and doesn't really do shit. It comes back, does that. I think we close like this pretty much. We just come back. Makes sense because of the daily wick, right? We don't really support that bullish expansion, so. But yeah. So kind of like a counter trend trade, but fade the daily candle rate. But it was 100% logical to do so. didn't make sense to short. The only thing that we could do is long. So yeah, that's indices. That's my trade recap. Metals. Metals. I wanted to see reversal away from this low. Yeah, we took it like technically yesterday. We kind of like created equal lows, and then today took it, created an SMT with gold. We held it and created I think string switch SMT here. I already have it in. Took it here. Created string switch once weaker, now stronger. And that's like the only way we can obviously trade away from feather swings or feather SMT is if we have string switching at the reversal, or if price displaces away from it. And personally, I don't trade the reversal like this when we're creating feather swings. I demand the displacement away. Either I trade the leading asset in, which is gold, and reversal away from the universal sequence, right? Or I trade the lagging asset in continuation. But what I wanted to see is the daily profile we open up here. We open higher, open lower, and then hit higher, so it's a delayed profile. So today only supports price reaching current day high, but we know that the current high is a further swing to this high, so we can definitely reach those. And as you can see, we do reach it and then die off, which is, I mean, you just see it repeat every fucking day, bro. Beautiful. So, but so you could have technically traded the initial reversal here, but you'd be fading the 6-hour candle, 16-hour candle. It's kind of the same as the indices, honestly. But honestly, it's crazy. Metals today was completely like in sync with indices, but yeah. Anyway, so what I wanted to see though, obviously, gold is leading, and right here, going into 10 a.m. created this gap, but we didn't create a PSP. If I'm going to trade the leading asset in reversal away from the universal sequence, I got to confirm the universal sequence with a high probability sequence or confirmation S&P sequence, right, with the gap, which would be second stage PSP S&P fill. We didn't create that PSP, so I have to wait. And then when we close at 10:30 here, we created that PSP. We technically did have S&P fill, but that doesn't matter because I'm not trading the lagging asset in continuation. And we created a PSP here. And silver is open. We already know gold is stronger. And the asset that's likely going to trade into this gap here is going to be silver. So we can definitely get that second stage PSP S&P fill sequence on the hourly. So this could have been a trade, and I would have definitely probably taken this. I would probably take it. The problem is though, is I would have to enter on this tab because I can't log into Tradevate on these two tabs at the same time. So I would have to like switch over to gold on here and then enter, and I would be trading. I don't know if I can trade 2 times, honestly. If I can enter into 2 trades at the same time, but if I could, I was gonna do it no matter what. And then but we do deliver, but we don't create that. We don't create it. My cat wants some. Yeah, we don't create that shit. So yeah, so there was no trade. So at this point, the last thing we can do is trade silver as the lagging asset in continuation. Technically did get a second stage PSP though, but like I said, I guess that is kind of a second stage PSP S&P fill, but I didn't really want, because if you think about it, we don't really need to trade into this gap because within the wick here we created a reversal. Right, I want to see if this actually lines up. We created that reversal, right, and then 11 AM opened up. So we created that second stage PSP S&P fill prior to 11 AM here. So it kind of makes sense. It's just we created the reversal, 11 AM opens up, it should expand. It's just a bit lower probability. I wanted to see that early gap. It didn't really make sense to fade it because I mean it made sense. It looked like we were gonna do it. But I guess it kind of makes sense why we didn't, right? Because I didn't see that at first. So yeah, we did that. We displaced away from that. Lead asset trades into the drawn liquidity, which creates SMT with silver. But again, we got to remember, right? Okay, obviously that's the fellow S&P because all assets that were still displaced higher, that typically means that they were, they reached higher or away from the original S&P. So that typically means that they should all reach the same target level. And also we had that swing switch at the reversal, which increases the odds probability that all assets are going to reach the same target level. And then, yeah, and then the S&T is being printed with an OT, right? So it's likely for there's me, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same shit over and over again. Um, so now what do I have to demand on silver? Strength switching. But the only thing is about this, right, we got the daily open, right? It's seek and destroy, or yeah, it's pretty much seek and destroy on silver. So when we reach above current day high here, we don't really support price catching up and breaking S&P. Like the only scenario that I think that the only thing we could have done is trade delete an asset, um, in reversal towards us. I can't really trade the lagging asset in continuation because of the daily profile. It doesn't support it. So although yeah, S&P gets kind of clean, the daily profile doesn't support it, which is a very important thing. And as you can see, we don't do shit. We just consolidate. And that's exactly what, fucking crazy, right? And also, what time is it? It's 12. So it's typically when assets resync. What do we form? Do we form asset? Do we have any gap? We're creating a gap on the hourly. Let's wait for that. Do we form S&P full with that first? Okay, we did. Ah, fuck. Alright, go back. Alright, we did. We had S&P fill. But again, yeah, we have strength switch via S&P fill. Jumping to the 5 minute. So, let's say you want to be ballsy and take that shit. We did the demand a V-shape away from that. Did we do that? No, we don't. We just tried it right away, so there's no trade. Alright, there you go. So it doesn't matter. And we're probably not going to... I have the demand strength switching via S&P fill. Ideally, that's kind of just what I demand if I'm trading lag and second continuation. And if we don't form on the hourly gap here, then it has to be with like a 90-minute gap. We don't have it. And we don't, we're not going to create it. Alright, technically we do have it here on the 30-minute. Actually. Alright, demand V-shape. Fucking V-shape. Alright, secondly right there. It's kind of weird though. Right. V-shape. We hold it. So you could have taken that. But I wouldn't have taken this, right? Because of the daily profile. It's just hella lower probability. Would have taken it off here. This is valid though. We have the 4-hour lines, the 6-hour lines, then 90-minute, 1 hour, 30-minute. We have the strength switch on the lagging asset to break the S&Ps at the highs. Everything is aligned here. But you could have taken that, stop here, and shot for a 2 RR. Wouldn't have reached it. As it's a lower probability day or entry. But right when we created this like shitty CI CSD, I would have definitely went break even, and the price would have came back and take me out break even. That's why it's like there's so many scenarios of like with async reversal continuation, or yeah, there's so many scenarios, so many opportunities, and as long as you find, even when you just demand the highest probability sequences, the ones that are the most logical for why we should go higher and all that. There's still many out there, right, per day, honestly. And when you take those ones that are high probability, most of the time price will give you an opportunity to try your stop loss to 1/2 or to break even. And so typically, you're not losing shit, honestly, on these trades. So it's like, just fucking take them, just fucking execute on it, all of them, honestly. But that's honestly it's honestly worth it. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, that's today. I'm gonna end this video. So yeah, actually, hold on. So yeah, I already went over this, but you know, do it again because why not? Okay, what was the outcome of the trade? Win or loss? Technically a loss, but it was a break even. Is the trade you is this a trade you would take again without knowing the outcome was a loss? Yes, every fucking time. Good loss then. Was there any logical way to avoid this loss in the moment? Maybe trade NQ. It was showing more strength, right? Um, maybe I, you know, could have taken profit when price reached my take profit by or fell shy of it by a tick. But when you're a trader, you gotta have discipline. You gotta have patience. You can't fucking just. It it kind of seems stupid to not take off. I mean, it's literally right there. Why not just take it? It's gonna be your instead of making a 3 RR, you're making a 2.95 RR. Like, is it really worth losing out? Like, I pretty much lost 3R because of that. So maybe it was kind of stupid, but I really thought we were going to reach it, honestly. So you just don't know. And I wanted to have that satisfaction of me waiting for it. And it's builds discipline and it's smart to just wait because it shows that you're not, you don't let, it's pretty much building your emotional barrier or like, it's making you stronger emotionally. So it's just, even though it sucks, you got to go through it though. It doesn't matter. I really can care less. I know I'm growing from it. So, what specifically was done well in this trade despite the outcome? Control my stop loss to a logical area. Um, what else was there? Being patient. I mean, I don't know what else. I would have to look at it again. Honestly, I forget. Where emotions controlled after this losing trade was realized. I was mad. I was very frustrated at first. Um, but I like instantly just turned off the charts and I exercised and I really like took my I really capitalized on that exercise. I really like put all my anger into it. It was a good exercise, and you know, I mean, I feel good now, so it doesn't matter. So I think that I really back in the day I would have been much more sad. I mean, I'm trading with an eval too, and that would have been in the trade for me to pass my eval. So, and you would think a lot more people probably would have reacted a lot worse there. I'm not gonna lie, they probably would have fucking broke shit and would have yelled, done some stupid shit, whatever. Um, I didn't even yell. I didn't even care, honestly. Um, I honestly didn't even care in the moment because I kind of just accepted it. I was like, fuck it. I seen that shit dart lower. I seen that shit fucking dart lower here. We're literally at 12 open. I was like, oh, well, I'm getting fucked in the ass. I'm getting raped straight up. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. Um, and I just didn't give a fuck, honestly. I just accepted it. And that's kind of what you have to do. So, anyways, and I know that there's plenty full of opportunities. So I just gotta get used to it. It's gonna happen. I can't let it control me. So, um, I know that everybody, literally every fucking trader goes through this shit, so I'm not the only one. And I know that I'll have my moments of times like these, and I'll have other moments where I'll fucking be making a shit ton of money, making beautiful trades, and you know, I gotta understand though that this is lower 40 trade is a counter trend. It's a real day. PA on the daily, on the hard time from etc. has been so shitty lately. So I mean, it's just something you can expect. You can't just, you know, and especially with trading, I'm just yapping right now, honestly. But with trading, you know, the markets will do literally whatever they want to do. You have no control over the markets. You just it's like surfing. I've said this over and over again. Many people say this. It's literally like surfing. You can't control the waves. You don't know when they're gonna come, etc. You just gotta learn how to be patient, wait for them, and then capitalize on them, ride them, right? You gotta learn, and then you gotta learn how to ride the board, stay on the board as long as possible, etc., etc. And um, so when you can't control something, then it's just stupid to get angry about it because you can't control it. So it's just accept it. So anyways, so that's some fucking wisdom for you. And yeah, I think this is it. So pretty interesting week. I've realized lately that I've been slowing down. I mean, fucking this entire time I've been super slow. Psychological or psychology reasons. I don't know. Where I haven't been taking trades because I'm scared to. Right? I'm scared that the outcome isn't going to be what I want. Um, and the only way to get over that is to just do it. And to see it repeat over and over again, which I do see it repeat over and over again. But it makes sense for why I feel like this right now. Especially since I've learned recently how powerful intraday PA is with acid sneak and all that. So I mean, I literally just learned that like a couple weeks ago. So I got to give myself time to ease into it, and what's made me a whole new trader, honestly. And so yeah, I know that I'm gonna fucking kill it in this shit in the future. I can literally already see it. Um, and yeah. So, um, but I haven't been taking as many trades. Like sometimes I'll skip a whole week because I'm scared to. That's why I've been like trying to pass this eval for like the past 3 months now. Um, but I'm literally one trade away, $700 away from passing that. Like this should have been today, honestly, but it doesn't matter. It'll happen eventually. And probably next week, hopefully. If I'm not a bitch, anyways. If I'm patient. Gotta let my emotions control the trade. What else? Yeah. So today, this week, I pretty much traded 4 times. It was technically 3 times, but I have to say it's 4 times because yesterday I traded. Like yesterday, I got fucking unlucky as well. That's just how it is. You can't. It's whatever. Um, but yesterday I took a trade, price edged my stop loss when it shouldn't have. It was in a very logical area. But then it provided a re-entry. I took it. I didn't let my first loss determine my second trade. I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna let the markets bully me. Fuck you. I'm I'm gonna fucking win this shit because I know the bias, everything's still valid. And of course, price reaches my take profit. And that just shows I have confidence in myself. I know this. I know I'm fucking good at this shit. I'm yeah, and it's about time. So it's inevitable. But um, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot more room for improvement. But anyways, so but yeah, and then I think I traded on. I'm not sure what day it was. Maybe Wednesday. I don't know. And I lost. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if I lost and it reached my take profit right afterwards, or uh, C3 continuations, or um, okay, universe sequence, Shinley asset, and reversal confirmation is. Oh yeah, that's right. It was in the driver. Yeah, this was like A plus. Like you honestly couldn't have asked for a better trade than this. But the only thing is I entered on the 30 minute/15 minute, which I usually never do, but it was pretty fucking clean. Um, and reality, I mean, I would have taken this every time, but uh, fucking, and we even had that strength switch or the 6 HPPS and be full confirmation of the universal sequence on the lean asset, which is I didn't even care for that honestly because of how clean everything was on the daily for 1 hour 30 minute. But yeah, if I entered on the 5 and 3 minute though, if I waited for the driver to open up, trade into that, create that 6 PSPS and be full, and then V-shaped higher, create the 5 or 3 minute CSD, I would have had better RR. I would have, it would have been more higher probability. But we didn't create that 5 and 3 minute CSD. We almost did, and then the price just tanked lower and took my stop loss for like absolutely no reason. And that's because the higher time frame running consolidation just shouldn't be there. So a lot of people got fucked over on that, to be honest. It wasn't just me. But anyways, so yeah, I mean this week, great trades. And I'm ending the week off pretty much break even, honestly. So pretty much where I started the week at. So, but I should have passed my eval, man. But it doesn't matter. It's in the past. It is what it is. Now on to next week.